Welcome to CCBC TV's Arts Showcase, a series featuring performances from the campuses of the Community College of Baltimore County. I'm Monica Otal, Professor of Music and Concert Manager at CCBC. Today's Arts Showcase features a return to CCBC of the popular Rob Levit Trio, comprised of guitarist Rob Levit, bassist Amy Shook, and drummer Frank Russo. Their program is entitled The Art of Creativity, Poverty to Possibility, and is offered in conjunction with CCBC's Community Book Connection. Yearly, the Community Book Connection chooses a book to be read and used throughout the entire college community. This year's book is David Shipler's The Working Poor.
Thank you. Frank Russo on the drums. Amy Shook on the bass. In the book, The Working Poor, there's a story about a couple, Tom and Tara King, and they've basically lost everything through their illness, through a set of unfortunate circumstances and some poor decisions. But what keeps them together in the book and in their lives is the idea of kinship. And so when Monica asked us to put this together, I wanted to really come up with a hopeful message, something that we could, despite all the poverty that is all around us in our country, really kind of get a hopeful message. So the idea of kinship, which permeates all of our culture in so many different ways, in community, in our music, in our art, and in everything that we do, in our school community, and the idea of coming together to create something that is sustaining and lasting. I wanted that to be the message that I received from the book. And one of the quotes from the book that really struck me was, one of the stories that really touched me was when they were sitting in a restaurant and this man paid for the family's ticket. Does anybody remember that? They paid for their meal in the restaurant. And what happened was, at first, the mom was offended. She was upset that someone would do that for her because she had so much pride. And then she confronted him and said, "Why did you do that?" And he said, I was listening to your conversation. He said, "I counted. Your children said they loved you 20 times. And I really kind of captured the essence of kinship and togetherness and community to sustain us through a lot of the things that we face. When you think of poverty, it's so overwhelming that a lot of times there's not much we can feel like we can do about it. And I wanted to come up with a metaphor for that poverty, and the idea of the favela in Brazil. How many are familiar with that, the favela in Brazil? Could anyone share what that is? Just blurt it out if you can.
It's a very poor slum on the hillsides in Brazil.
Exactly, in Brazil, and actually in our first concert over in Catonsville, there was a young woman here from India who said there was very similar in Bombay, India, the idea of these ginormous, absolutely humongous shanty towns. I don't know if you can see that because of the light, but there's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of shanties, and in the background are these huge cities where lawyers and wealthier people and business people work, and so that juxtaposition of such a huge gap between the rich and the poor, and also the idea that in each of these little places, there's a family in there, or there's a person or an old person living there. And so, going back to that idea of a hopeful message is, as someone who's highly involved with people that are impoverished, I can't reach and touch everybody, but I definitely can choose to go into one of those dwellings and stay there as long as necessary to be a support and to find that kinship with the people that we serve. Okay, so we're going to play a tune by Antonio Carlos Jobim called Favela. All right. Tricky trigger finger there. Amy Shook. All right. Okay. Okay, so one idea of dealing with poverty came from this great quote in the book. It said, to get out of poverty, they have to acquire dexterity with their emotions as well as their hands. And I thought, wow, what a great metaphor for the creative experience and the artistic experience, because not only are we working with our hands and our bodies, but we're also working with our emotions, because we're trying to create emotion through our music. And so that emotional release and that emotional understanding that hopefully we gain through the creative process is something that is missing from a lot of programs. Now, I'm from Annapolis, Maryland, and I work very closely with the Lighthouse Shelter in Annapolis, and they have this wonderful training program called the BEST program, where the residents are learning all the culinary arts, they're learning custodial skills, they're learning all these really great skills that they can use out in the world to make money and make income. But at the same time, it's not enough to give people skills. We have to connect with them emotionally, connect them to their creative source, their ability to make decisions in a way that is creates more possibilities for them. That's why I call this, the art of possibility. So to give people those options. So that was something that was really important to me, is to really get emotionally involved with the people I work with, as opposed to kind of just delivering a program. And so how do we do that? We do that by not dictating to people how to do stuff, but teaching people to be resourceful. Because when you're a jazz musician, for many different reasons, you become resourceful. You have to be resourceful about getting paid. You have to be resourceful about creating the music and working with people and getting from one destination to the other. So it's a really great way it's a really great metaphor to be resourceful. Somebody read that definition of resourceful for us? Just blurt it out. Go ahead.
Ingenious, capable, and full of initiative, using imagination in difficult situations.
Right. Don't you want to be resourceful? Who doesn't want to be ingenious? Who doesn't want to be able to take initiative? So all those things lead to resourcefulness. And I'll share with you, whoops, jumped ahead. I'll share with you something from the book. Was when in the book the author talks about how kids from other countries, they make their own musical instruments and they make their own toys. There isn't a Toys R Us to go to. There isn't even a Goodwill to get toys. So they make their own toys. And so that kind of reminded me of the collection of musical instruments I have from my house from different parts of the world. And indeed, they are in fact made from scrap metal. This is a musical instrument called a banana bell, and it's made from discarded material. You want to hear a great sounding musical instrument? It sounds like this. Isn't that good? Yeah, that is awesome, right? So, just kidding. So it's made from just something that we would throw away. They find great beauty in, and beyond that, they actually make beautiful music from it.
Where is that from?
Thank you. It's from Ghana, West Africa. Sounds pretty good, right? Thank you. I tried to go on to become a professional banana bell player, but my parents forbid that. So I become a jazz guitarist. It pays much better, okay? There's a lot of job security in it. So here's the bell pattern from West Africa, because not only do they create these beautiful instruments and play with them, they actually develop a whole musical language around them. Yeah. Thank you. So not only using a resourceful musical instrument made by hands that were resourceful, that found options in materials that we would discard, but we also create music that becomes resourceful using those instruments. So who would like to be resourceful in here? Because I've got 3 more of these instruments. Come on up. This is a great opportunity. I know you got your hands up. Yeah, come on up. You want to play? Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. Come on up. And come on. Yeah, come on down. Yeah. Let's get resourceful. Let's get resourceful and play some music here. Awesome. What's your name? Mike? Give Mike a round of applause. There you go. Stand right here. Okay. What's your name? Mark. Give Mark a round of applause. All right. And Kim, she didn't even volunteer, but she's down here anyway. All right. So here you go.
All right.
So all you're going to do, let's come together. Let's be resourceful. Let's make some kinship. Let's build a resourceful community, and let's hold them flat in our hands. Right? And don't hold them too close, because when these hit your knuckles, it hurts. You hold them flat in your hand, and you just strike it with your hand open. There we go. And then close your hand. All right? So Frank Russo, our drummer, is going to lay down a nice, easy rhythm for us, and then we're going to. Help us out, people. Give us some clapping. Can you vary it a little bit now? All right, give them a round of applause. That wasn't too bad, was it? It was fun, wasn't it? There you go. Huh? It's cool. Yeah. Thank you very much. So just combining the idea of kinship, coming together as a community. It's not really that hard to come together as a community and create something that feels good, sounds good. We're using our emotions to learn, and we're being together. And we're also being resourceful. So combining all these things together can create a really powerful and positive way of dealing with a lot of different issues. Okay. All right, getting warmed up here. All right, I'm going to speak very briefly about this quote. Quote says, discouraged children and inadequate teachers make a corrosive combination. Discouraged children and inadequate teachers make for a corrosive combination. That on the surface sounds like a really depressing comment, doesn't it? So what would I do as a creative artist? I'm going to be resourceful and flip that comment around. How could I change that in a really simple way? Encourage children. Adequate, okay? So look at that. Encouraged children and adequate teachers make an excellent combination. Explosive. Who else said something? Perfect. So, yeah. So yesterday we were talking, with the group over in where were we yesterday? Dundalk, yeah. And it's been a long week. And just the idea of how easy it is really to encourage children. It's so easy to encourage children. As a matter of fact, don't you actually have to go out of your way to discourage children? Who in here is interested in becoming a teacher? Beautiful. Let's give them a nice big round of applause. Yeah. Beautiful. Think of the wonderful mission that you're going to have, that your job, your sole job really is to, with the practice that you've acquired, whether it be a math teacher, a music teacher, a language arts teacher, you're going to be able to encourage children and to be able to cut that very vicious cycle of right at the pass by just the mere encouragement of children. And to become a teacher that's more than adequate, but an excellent teacher, you actually become someone much like a musician, like a drummer or a bass player, who've put in thousands and thousands of hours. That excellence as an educator is something that could be acquired over time. So even if you're not a great educator to begin with, you can reverse that entire situation. So to me, the whole educational process, the whole exchange between student and teacher is one of the most powerful ways there is to combat poverty. Anybody know who this nice gentleman is? Besides Monica? Who is it, Monica? Yeah, that's Langston Hughes. Anybody heard of the Harlem Renaissance? Yes. Yeah, I mean, isn't that a great thing? Harlem Renaissance, a rebirth. He was this poet from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Guess what? He cared and loved children. He was concerned about children back then were not getting the right cultural messages from our society. Sounds familiar, right? So he wrote this wonderful poem that I got inspired by the chapter Dreams in the book. And he wrote this wonderful poem called Dream Variations. And it goes something like this. To fling my arms wide in some place of the sun, to whirl and to dance until the white day is done, then rest at cool evening beneath a tall tree, while night comes on gently, dark like me. That is my dream. That is my dream. To fling my arms wide in the face of the sun, dance, whirl, whirl, till the quick day is done. Rest at pale evening, a tall, slim tree, while night coming tenderly, dark like me. That is my dream. That is my dream. To fling my arms wide in some place of the sun, to whirl and to check that out, till the white day is done, then rest at cool evening beneath a tall tree, while night coming gently, dark like me. That is my dream. That is my dream. All right. I want to assure you I'm not quitting my day gig and becoming a professional singer. But you know, it's going back to that emotional connection to learning that I think is so incredibly valuable. And that's something I do with second, third graders, fourth graders. They love it. So you know what? We're going to all do that right now. So why don't we all go ahead and stand up, get some motion with the ocean, and we're going to sing this, and we're going to move our bodies a little bit and get into this learning. And Kim's going to help us, right? I like that. Don't worry. I'm just going to make you do the first variation. All right? Let's move those arms. Let's get engaged in this learning. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. To fling my arms wide in some place of the sun. Nice. To whirl, yeah, shake it till the white day is done. Then rest at cool evening beneath the tall tree. Nice. While night comes on gently, dark like me. That is my dream. That is my dream. How about a big rousing round of applause? Yeah. Yeah. Have a seat. Here's a wonderful collage, so you can go even deeper with it. You got the music, you got the movement, you got the art. Here's a wonderful collage by collage artist named Susan Anthony, who gave me permission to use this for this presentation. But the idea of connecting children and connecting adults to this deep learning that lives in our body, our mind, and our spirit is something that I'm really investing in, especially with the group of individuals and families that I work with, many of them who don't have enough food, don't have the educational opportunities, and don't have the resources unless educators like myself, the team that I work with, really step up and provide those wonderful opportunities. Okay. We're going to play a couple more songs for you. I wanted to leave you with this quote. I thought it was really powerful. I just got back from Memphis, Tennessee. I was at the Harvard Project Zero conference in Memphis. And boy, I had some good barbecue down there. That was some good stuff. Okay? Got the wet ribs, you got the dry ribs, you got the different kinds of sauces. It's good stuff. I encourage you to visit Memphis. You like ribs, don't you? I can tell. Yeah. So, so anyway, they use this great quote, which really has resonated with me for a long time. I heard the quote even before I went to the conference, but this quote always comes up at these Harvard Project Zero conferences. Children grow into the intellectual life around them. So if a child is living in poverty and squalor and they don't have the resources they need intellectually, the vocabulary, the educational opportunities, they're going to grow into that life. But see, everybody here in this room can interrupt that pattern because you are educators and you are teachers. Every single person in here is modeling for other people that intellectual life. So even if you come into contact only one single time with a child or an adult in need, you can model that intellectual life, but it goes so much deeper than that. It really goes that you're modeling the physical, the emotional, the mental, the creative, and the spiritual for them. So especially you teachers, those that are going to be educators, and that's going to be your life calling, what a fabulous opportunity to be an integral part of the intellectual life of the people that you need the most. I thought that was a really cute picture of a baby. That's why I picked it. But it just shows, a baby, a child that from the day one is being nurtured and loved. We're going to play a song by Nat Adderley, who was a trumpet player, and we're going to play a song called Work. Because there's a lot of stories about people that work in the book, and that despite working several jobs and doing many different things, they're still struggling to make ends meet. And that's a prominent theme in the book. Okay, I'm trying to smile more. Okay. One, two, three. There you go. Thank you. Frank Russo. Amy Shook. All right. Okay. I'm going to close out with one more song, but I want to give you some ideas. It says, please help. So how do you help? Because, you know, poverty is really overwhelming, especially in our own lives. We're already overwhelmed with our lives. We've got school, we've got our own jobs, we may have our own family issues, we may be living in poverty ourselves. So how do you help? First one is harness the power of guilt and gratitude. When I was growing up in Richmond, Virginia, I went to an exclusive private school. I had everything I wanted. When I came home from after my first year of college, I had mentored a young kid through the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program who literally lived on the wrong side of the tracks. Literally. I used to crawl through a fence over the train tracks to get to his house. And something changed in me. It really bothered me because I had been sheltered from a lot of the way that the rest of the country lives. And I remember calling our church in downtown Richmond, Virginia, and I said, can I do something to help? And he said, how soon can you be over here? They didn't even run a background check back then because there was so much need. And I remember picking up this woman named Deborah and her two small children living in the side of Richmond, Virginia that I had never even visited before, and taking them to their doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, and out for lunch. And that one time changed me. That was almost 30 years ago. And now I just feel so grateful that I have the opportunity to work with people all the time. So that's something that we can all do. We can all get involved by just working with one person or one family. Stop blaming people in the institutions. There's a lot in the book about how, why do poor people have cell phones? That's kind of an offensive comment to me because I don't have time to worry about systemic things like that. I'm too busy engaged right now in trying to figure out why people are poor and the resources they need to overcome them. And the time that I spend distracting myself, judging other people, trying to figure out who's to blame, is less time for me to be available to serve other people. I'll leave that to the politicians and the pundits to figure out is it true that people living in poverty shouldn't have phones? Is it true that they shouldn't have televisions? And is it true that they should be walking around in tatters and rags? That makes me a judgmental person to think that, and I just frankly don't have time for that right now. Be a listener, not an expert. Earlier this week I was at the Lighthouse and I met this great guy. He's 40 years old. He had spent 20 years incarcerated in prison. So, and he's been out for 4 years. So what kind of expert am I to him? I want to be a listener to him. I want to be someone who's going to support him and really just be there for him and learn from him and have that kinship together. And I think sometimes that's what really people need. They don't need my advice, although I like to give it very frequently. They just need someone to be a good listener. Participate, facilitate, and advocate. You know, we're participating together. You guys got up and you did a great job singing that Langston Hughes poem. I'm participating with these wonderful musicians here, right? And really just kind of creating that kinship connection. And you know, I'm not going to have a kumbaya, we are the world moment and pretend that's going to solve all of our problems. But I'll tell you, showing up for people in this authentic way is a really amazing gift that doesn't happen as frequently as we might think. So before we stop and close out with just one more song, I want to ask, does anyone have any questions, comments, complaints, regrets, inspirations, calls to action? Yes.
I have a comment. So I do participate in the Community Book Connection, and you talked a lot about the book. And I know a lot of people in the room probably haven't read it. I do have 10 copies in my office that I would love to give to 10 people in the room. I'm sorry I don't have for everybody, but if you felt really inspired by the music and your amazing talk about this, and you want to actually read the book you've been referring to, and you think you really will read it and get involved, the first 10 people to swamp me after the program, come see me and I'll give you a book. So I just want to say
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. Other questions? Come on, throw something out there. Let me ask you a question. What will you be taking from this presentation today? What's one thing that you will take from this presentation? Yes?
The most valuable thing you can ever give someone is your time.
Absolutely. You know, the most valuable thing is giving people your time, is showing up for people in an authentic way. I'm an artist, so everything I do is hands-on and giving options and activities and possibilities to people. And the comment I hear over and over again is, nobody ever asked me what I thought, or nobody ever asked me to create something. They're always trying to deliver me a program or telling me to go here for a resource. And so just giving that gift of presence to people is so underestimated. Yes?
I brought my theater class here today, and I was just wondering if you could comment a little bit on how you have used the arts for social advocacy and for issues like this. I think the arts and creativity are so important in these areas.
Okay, that's a great question. Well, I run a nonprofit organization in Annapolis, Maryland. It's called Creating Communities. And basically, I started off because I felt guilty that I had all these resources as an artist, and that I wasn't using them to the full capacity. You know how you get that nagging feeling you should be doing more with your life? You should absolutely 100% listen to it. So the first summer, we sent 27 students to this program I created called the Arts Mentorship Academy, and they had drama, they had dance, they had African drumming, they had guest artists in the afternoon, and it gives them this whole kaleidoscopic range of activities, so that not so that they can get good at one thing, but so that they can discover their own selves within this these different set of activities. And I have just found that the arts are so wonderful and so perfect for letting people discover what's in them without having to be told, you should be doing this or you shouldn't be doing this. They get to discover their own voice kind of in their own time, in their own way. And so many times, people can have these amazing epiphanies or just wake up to some talents that they never even knew that they had. I hope that answers your question a little bit. But one thing that's so amazing about drama is the idea of that you're learning with your body. You know, we live in this culture so much of the time where we sit in lecture halls and learning is all contained up here, but in reality, especially with a lot of the groups and the kids I work with, they can't sit in a desk all day. They don't want to sit in a desk all day. They need to learn experientially. They need to dance. They need to move. And they need to have some time to reflect and journal and create art. And that opens up so many doors, because if we only look at the way that we think people should learn, if we only look at the way we think people should learn, we're robbing them of these wonderful opportunities to learn in a way that's appropriate and fulfilling to them. Final questions, concerns, complaints, regrets, lunch orders? All right, we're going to play one more. Hey, I'm grateful to Monica O'Tall for hosting me at this concert series and kind of giving me this challenge. It was a big challenge for me to kind of associate the music and the art, and I think we did a pretty good job. I'm a very modest artist, you can see. And also Patty Crossman, who booked me here like 15 years ago. They can't get enough of the Rob Levit Trio here. I hope that continues forever. So thank you so much. We're going to play one more song. We're going to play a gospel tune for you called Nobody Knows. the trouble I've seen. Russo. Amy Shook.
I hope you enjoyed this inspirational performance by the Rob Levit Trio. If you would like to attend a Music Forum concert, please note that each Friday during the fall and spring semesters, the music department of CCBC presents Music Forum concerts at 12:20 in the recital hall of the Arts and Humanities Hall on the Essex campus. These concerts are an integral part of our students' education, and all of the concerts are free and open to the public. For more information on Music Forum, please call 443-840-1521. I'm Monica Otal. Thank you for watching CCBC TV's Arts Showcase.